Hello, everyone. So today we're going to talk about features of functions, and we're going to start to hit on domain and range. So the first thing is a function. The key thing about a function is that every domain or our x values has exactly one range or our y values. We have this thing called the vertical line test. So if I have the points 1, 2, and 1, 1, so here's 1, here's my point 1, 1, here's my point 1, 2. Those points are every domain, the domain is 1, should only have one range. This has two ranges, has two different y values. That doesn't pass the vertical line test. It's not a function, okay? The vertical line test is just if I draw a vertical line, are there more than one dot? Is there more than one dot on that line? If there is, we do not have a function, okay? Our domain is it's our set of all our x values. Our range is the set of all our y values. Our maximum and our minimum points are also pretty important. Our max and min points are our high and low points on the graph. A lot of time when we talk about max or min, we usually refer to the y value. The increasing part of a function is the portion of a graph that looks like this. Okay, it's from left to right, it's going up. Decreasing looks like this. From left to right, it's going down, just like when we talked about slope. So decreasing has a negative slope, just bringing it back to that, and this has a positive slope. Our intercepts are where the graph or where the line crosses the x and y axis. So we can have x-intercepts and y-intercepts. All right, I'm going to flip this over. This was just a little bit of vocab I wanted to discuss. Now, if I look at some actual problems, we can talk about what the domain, range, max, and min would look like. So if I'm looking at this graph, it starts here, it decreases, it increases, it decreases, and it increases. My domain is all of my x values, so my domain goes from here to here. Okay, so my domain goes from -4, so I would say -4 is less than or equal to, because this is a closed circle. So if I have a closed circle, I do or equal to. It could be greater than or less than. If I have an open circle, I do no underline. Okay, it's not necessarily equal. If I have a turning point, okay, if I have a turning point, sometimes they are not necessarily equal. So from here to here, okay, I'm going from -4 with my x values to +4. Okay, so this is an inequality. So this is called a between statement. I always have my x in the middle, my values over here. You guys should have touched on inequalities a little bit in 8th grade. For the y value, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go from here to, it looks like this is my y-axis. So my y here, I only go from here to here. So this on my y-axis is 0. And then I go up to, looks 1, 2, 3. So for my y values, I go from 0 to 3. Okay. Now just notice here that I am not I'm putting a specific letter. X is for domain, Y is for range. Okay. There is another way we can write this. We could also write this as a closed circle is a bracket and an open circle is a parenthesis. And we can also write this in what we call interval notation. Okay. So I could also say we're going from -4 to 4. I can put -4, 4. If we say we're going from 0 to 3, these are both closed circles, so I can put 0 to 3. Okay. My relative max is just what's the highest y value in this graph. The highest, if I look at my y values, the largest one that goes farthest up in the positive range is 3. So my relative max would be when y equals 3. My relative minimum, when is the point the lowest? When's our y value the lowest? It actually looks like we have 2 low points, but they are both at y equals 0. These are my 2 lowest values. When the graph is increasing and decreasing is pretty tricky. Okay, so my graph is decreasing here from -4 to -2. So I could put -4, comma. Now, when I write this interval, this -2 is changing direction here. So it's decreasing, decreasing. It's about to change direction. Whenever it's changing direction, I have to put that parenthesis. I cannot use the bracket. Okay, so -4, -2. Oops, sorry, I'm putting that in the wrong place. That should be decreasing. -4, -2. That's where it's decreasing. Right here, it's starting to increase. So this is a turning point. It's increasing from -2 to 0. We're always talking about x value when we talk about our increasing and decreasing. Okay, that's important. We're always talking about our x values here when we talk about increasing and decreasing. So it's increasing from -2 to 0. Okay. And those are going to be just parentheses because they're both turning points. This changed to be going up, and now this is turning down. Okay. Now this is going to start to decrease. Once again, they're both turning points. It's decreasing from 0 to 2. And I'm going to put this little thing here. This means included or and. So these are both times where it's decreasing. Now we have our last increasing. Okay, it goes from 2 to 4. And my 4 can have a bracket because there's no turning point there, but my 2 is turning. Okay. And once again, I can put that little u just to say that they're both included in the increasing. This piece here where it says f of 1 and f of x of 2, it's just kind of asking me what would those values be. So whenever you see f of x is the same thing as y. So they're giving me an x value here and they want to know what the y is. So they're telling me they want to know if x is 1, then what's y? That's what they're asking here. So when x is 1, my y value looks like it is about, I wouldn't say it's completely 1, it might be like 1.25 approximately. Now they're saying f of x equals 2. F of x is the same thing as y. So they're saying y equals 2, what's x? So I'm going to go to my y value of 2, and x looks like it's approximately a little less than 1, maybe 0.75. And then the last one says when x is -3, what's y? So x is -3, y looks like it's about 0.5. And I'm just putting approximate because this graph's a little tricky. All right, let's do one more problem here. My domain here goes from -3 to 3. My x values go from -3 to 3. They're both closed circles, so I can put those underlines. I could also write that like this. My range is going from 2 to -1. I'm always going to put the smaller number on the left side. I could also write that as -1, 2 with brackets. My minimum is when y equals -1. I'm sorry, my minimum. And my maximum is when y equals 2. It's the highest point of my graph. My increasing and decreasing. This is not increasing or decreasing. This is a flat road. Nothing's happening here. It's when my slope is 0. This is a steady decrease though. So I can say from -1 to 1, it's decreasing. So, and those are both turning points actually. So I can put the -1 to 1 with my brackets. Parentheses, sorry. Then I have a flat road again, then another turning point, and from 2 to 3, right here, I'm starting to increase. 3 can have that closed bracket. 2 is going to need that parenthesis. That's a turning point. They're asking me here, when x is -2, what is y? When x is -2, I have a y of 2. This is saying when y is 2, what is x? Well, when y is 2, x could be anything between -3 and 2. -3 and -1. So from -3 to -1, this graph is all a y value of 2. So for this one, I would probably answer in an interval, -3 to -1. You could also answer like this. And lastly, what is, they're giving us x is 3. They want to know what y is. So when x is 3, y is 1. So this would be 1. Okay, I hope this helps you a little bit out today. Next week, when we do see you in person, we will talk about this more. Okay, have a great day, guys, and good luck on today's assignment.